So we are now recording the August 2nd, 2019 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Hello, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
We lost Matthew.
Uh-oh. He probably got home. He'll probably come back.
He said he was 15, 20 minutes away.
He froze right before he disappeared. He might have lost signal.
Oh, there he is. He's back. Matthew's back.
Missed you.
We lost Matthew. Oh, no.
Missed you too. Happy Friday.
Got it.
So we're going to start with you, Linda Russell. We're going to talk about your nonprofit that you have 3 years worth of information to bring in.
Yes.
QBO, what's the best method? And you have a lot of options, more than most banks. You have IIF, CSV, OFX, QIF, or TXT. Well, TXT, I don't know anybody be able to use that, but.
Guess maybe if you want to write a book of numbers or something.
So
yeah, it is nice that way. So
I think it really depends on what you want to use after.
Well, I'm thinking
online.
My preference would be to take desktop, and I'll be creating the file in Desktop Premier Accountant. But we can buy her QuickBooks Premier nonprofit, that one. Once we get her 501c3 status reinstated, what happened is she hasn't filed 990s for 3 years, and she hasn't because wherever they're sending the notices to, she's not getting the notices. So it's like she didn't know about any of this, and her CPA died, and her treasurer moved out of state, and typical human communication, none. So anyway, I'm going to get to rescue her, and the corporation has like $200,000 in the bank, so it's in good shape, and it provides. They help the schools. They help kids in the schools, the local schools. So it's a great thing. So I'd like to do desktop, and I would like to use QBox with it. I have a lot of clients using desktop and QBox, and it's worked very, very well. I haven't had any troubles at all with it. So that's what I'd like to use. I could also use QBO Plus because I have that 5 for 25 thing. And I finally got one of them sold. So now I'm down to 4 for $20. And I happen to get in on this batch when the price stays that way forever till I die.
I thought you could get a free subscription for a charity through TechSoup.
You can if you have a 501c3, but her status has been revoked.
Yeah, but no, I mean for later on, like when you're done all your catch up and stuff, as opposed to you using one of your really cheap ones, get her a free one through TechSoup.
I don't think it's not free in the US. It's $50 for a year of QBO or $50 for the desktop.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we don't have it in Canada at all, so.
So once we get her reinstated, that'd be fine. But I have never actually imported anything into any of my, I have in QBO. I have not done it in desktop.
Where's the data now?
I beg your pardon?
Where's the data now?
She has to pull it from the credit union.
Nowhere. It's in banks.
So you're doing fresh books, but you're hoping you can hook it up to the credit union and get bank feeds, or at least get data out of the bank?
Yes, and I did check it this morning. I went on, and I can download from 1/1/2016 on, no problem.
Nice. Do they do a lot of manual checks?
No, they don't.
Good question.
I have all the, let's see where it is here. Oh, here it is here. I have their statements here. Yeah. And so it's made, and they do a lot, and I'm thinking they do a lot through PayPal.
Oh, can you get it through PayPal?
But everything that went, they stopped using PayPal because it was
Get that
so
too close to the camera.
Yeah, keep it back.
Put that down, Linda. Put that down.
Okay.
Put it down. Thank you.
Sorry.
There's sensitive information on that. We don't want
PayPal, you can go back pretty far to get PayPal.
But they're like 2 pages long, and they're mostly debit card stuff and stuff in and out, in and out, in and out. So, and she has it all in Excel, and she has it all. She has checkbook records. She has boxes and boxes of stuff in storage. So
If she's already got an Excel, you could just do a batch entry.
Yeah, what's in Excel?
well, but the way she has it in Excel is she has it in Excel like a little checkbook register.
Yeah.
By program.
Oh,
So like over the 3 years, there might be 12 entries for one program.
that actually might be not
You
bad.
might be able to rearrange that.
File.
Yeah, you might be able to rearrange that, and that would actually be awesome because then you could get program statements.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Well, I think if you just
Payee names on it, like who they paid.
no, see that's they didn't understand a lot about bookkeeping and that. And they didn't put categories in either, like accounts. They put in like memos, what it was. So we're going to have to do all that. Personally, I've looked at her Excel files. She has a whole bunch of them, and you would have to take all of them and put them together into one, and they still would be missing half of the transactions or 3/4 of the transactions.
But you might be able to use it in reference to your bank downloads and then reference to the programs.
But wouldn't it be a lot
Especially for checks.
easier to suck all the bank stuff in and then sit there with an Excel sheet that has 12 entries on it and go through and
Yeah.
find those and fill them in?
Yeah.
I think that'd be a lot
And
faster.
depending on how you suck it in,
Window to window, it's hard.
yes, Matthew.
The debit cards will help
So-
because part of the vendor name.
Okay. Let's let Matthew talk. Matt?
Got it? Or we could do
In a
QBO.
situation,
So,
in a situation like this, the first and foremost important thing is making sure we have a good single source of all the data. And I generally like to go to the financial institution for that because we know all money in, all money out. We're talking historical stuff anyways. If we go straight and we grab the transactions, the statements all from the bank, that gives us
Where'd he go?
We lost him.
it's all right. He's on his
that
cell
you have
phone.
a reference.
You're breaking up a little bit. We lost your last couple sentences.
Okay, sorry about that. I'd go to financial institution, grab everything there, as I was saying, but then I would use all of those, the Excel sheets as reference, especially if there's any handwritten checks. So we could basically extract the check number, payee name, so we can save some of the data entry. Also, it should
I can
probably
have
give
her
us a
do all
reference
that
of vendor
too.
versus category. Exactly. And so what we usually do is we would take all of those bank downloads and we would run them through vendor sync, where we're able to start to set up the relationship between the vendor and the account. So it will actually start to put payee names on automatically through a lot of the stuff, just to cut back on some of the data entry that's necessary.
That's what I'm thinking we need to do.
We would do is we would pull it, but before I could really tell you exactly that's the best way, is I would want to see all the data. You mentioned PayPal, so I would need to understand what's going on with PayPal. What is it used for? Is it money in, money out? If so, what for? So we can just evaluate how that needs to be captured, so we don't double anything, of course.
Yeah, we're gonna try to see if she can access that account. She thinks it's still open, but she has not accessed it in over a year. So, but it's probably still there, and she'll go get those statements if she needs to. So, but I thought if we don't have the fees in, we know that at least we'll get it as accurate as we can. So, and I can explain a lot of this. I fear we can make an appointment, and you can give me a price, and we can just go ahead and get it done. Do you think desktop will work fine then with vendor sync?
Yeah, so what we've been doing a lot is we'll build new files out in desktop using vendor sync, even if we're going to go to QuickBooks Online, because we found it to be so much more efficient for us. We run it through that way. We get it exactly how we want it, reconciled, and then we push it up.
Got it. But the other thing that
So
we're going to have to do is figure out what accounts to put on our chart of accounts. And that's where I need to talk to you. Are we going to create those in vendor sync, or are we going to create that in a data file first? You know, so that's the part. I don't want to go ahead and do it one place and then go like, oh no, that wasn't where we were supposed to do it. We were supposed to do it over here.
I just think read the chart of accounts from the QuickBooks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
then
we
we'll
would
have to
basically-
create it.
We would pull it in.
That's what we'll
Yeah,
do.
we would
And
start by creating it into desktop.
So I would tend to go take the sample nonprofit company in Desktop Premier Accountant 2019, export that chart of accounts and bring it into a new data file.
actually, when you start a new data file, it'll ask you what kind of company you are and if you want to.
Oh, and then it will give me that.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure that you edit that, because that's like
Oh,
a
I will. I will.
long.
Really overkill. So
Yeah, it gives you a lot of
overkill.
extra stuff that maybe you don't need, and maybe there's something that's
You know what?
neat
Control
that
D,
doesn't-
Control D. You can nuke those things. you know.
Yes, I know, because there's no transactions with them.
Right.
I know that.
Yeah.
Control D, enter, 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 enter.
One warning, because the last one that I did, the past accountant was bringing in just bank feeds, right? And
Yeah.
so he mixed up bills that were paid online with debit cards. And you wouldn't think that that's a problem until you're doing 1099s.
Ooh, that's
I'm having to read the bank
Good
statement,
point.
go back and
It's a great
type
point.
debit.
Well, now I'm assuming at this point, at least the last 3 years, and probably then we'll decide how we're going to do. As a matter of fact, we might even decide to go all the way through 2019, whatever the last month is we've got. 'Cause we're going to have to do that. And I'll talk to Matthew about that, whether we want to do 1 year at a time or how we want to do that. But we'll bring it all the way. I told her when I signed the
All at
contract
once.
with her, the letter of engagement, that by January 15th, we would have all 3 years, we would have everything done. So, but I think we'll have it done a lot sooner than that. But that's okay. I have a contract with her for $1,000 a month until then, and so we can cover everything. So,
Nice.
and my reason,
1,000 a month that you're doing, or 1,000 a month in labor?
what do you mean? I've already been paid for May, June, and July, and haven't really started yet. So
So
that's kind of, I have a cushion.
Yeah.
But
I smell cinnamon.
But the reason why I want to take her, I want to sit down next to her side by side and with those Excel sheets, and I want her to become comfortable with QuickBooks Desktop, because eventually I'm going to be training her to download and enter it. Okay?
Unless you're moving it to QBO, then I wouldn't bother teaching her desktop.
I wouldn't, but I can't teach her QBO. I have to hand it off to somebody else then. I hate QBO. I can't figure out what to do. I struggle with it, and every client I've gotten in QBO has fired me. So I don't know why, but a lot of the people that use QBO, it just doesn't seem to work very well for me. Yeah, I'm assuming you're an expert in QBO. Are you, Tiffany?
Yeah, I know a few things.
Well, isn't that what you mainly use?
No.
Oh, okay. What do you mainly use?
My big clients are on desktop, but I
Okay.
do use quite a bit of online as well. My
Got it.
stuff is on online, and a lot of my clients are online, but my big ones, my big important clients are on desktop.
Got it. So it's, in my mind, it's a question of which program you think would be
My
easier.
charities are on desktop
Yeah, see, that's,
because
Right.
for program funding reporting and stuff.
So yeah, can't beat it.
well,
No.
I have another,
there-
I've got one charity on desktop that I'm the treasurer of, but there's another treasurer and they're using QBO Plus. And I'm thinking of moving them to desktop because they're a charity, and she has a really hard time with, her regular company is on QuickBooks Enterprise hosted by Right Networks.
So she's used to desktop, yeah.
Yeah, and I asked her, I said, well, can't you have another data file over there? And she said, no, she can't.
Yes, she can for free.
Yes, you can. It's just that once you have
It would be overkill, but.
you wouldn't be able to hand it off to anybody without having it converted back down to.
Right.
If she's in a temporary position, I wouldn't do it to Enterprise.
Right. And I also told her about
Bye,
tests too.
Tiffany.
Sorry, guys, I gotta go.
Yo, bye.
See you next week.
DT.
Thank you for your input. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Bye, guys.
All right.
Okay,
So,
well, Linda, please keep us informed how it's working for you.
I will. Well, I've decided I'm working with Matthew. I told her I would either be working. I ran our video over at her house. I went to our YouTube video from last week, and I introduced her to all you guys. And I told her we'd either be working with Matthew or we'd be working with Sara.
Awesome.
So
Hello,
she said,
person.
no, that's
Hope
right.
you
When
watch
I
this
work with you, I get
weekend.
all these other people. I said, oh, yes, you do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a really plus point, I find. You know, and I think it really helps you put your
We're
prices up.
human. We're yeah.
So, yeah, thank you very much. Now let's go to TVX.
Yeah, Sarah has some news for us.
What? I finally
What's
have
happening?
my IF export. All right. Let me move me over here, and then put you over here. All right. I am.
So you have just released TVX 7,
Did.
and TVX 7 now does.
Ta-da! I changed the whole interface.
Oh, beautiful. I love it.
So yeah, what I wanted to do was just I found that really people don't like to read manuals, even if it's a little bitty manual. So I did two things. It's just do 1, then 2, then 3, write down the list. The other is I have these little hover help.
Yes.
Nice.
That way you don't have to go to the manual if you're not quite sure what it does. And
Right.
then, I put a new test connection. And so it's bringing in if the QuickBooks is set for accrual or cash basis, because people would get confused about that. So I'm just saying, here it is. Here's the file you're connected to. Here's if you're cash or accrual. And if you mean to be cash, go back to QuickBooks and change it. Oh, that would have been a good help. And then the fiscal year. And so the fastest way to do TVX is have the file open in the background. So now we have 3 exports. We have regular trial balances with all the information, a regular journal entry, which is, it adds a date field and a journal entry number. And if you ask for 12 months, each month will be differentiated by a unique journal entry and a date. And then my new one, which is the IF export, which is the very special Intuit file format that can be imported back into a QuickBooks data file. And then once I say how I want the information come out, then I say, well, I just want a single trial balance, or do I want 12 months? And this is new. Instead of it fussing about dates, we just put in, all right, if it's monthly, it needs to be a whole month.
All right, got it.
That stopped some things. If I want a single trial balance, you can either do like as of December 31st, or you can say, well, give me in between this date and this date. So then once you choose that, we're defaulting the header information, is the name of the client, is it cash basis and everything. If you're working with pure data, if you need pure data, some people just don't want to have all that header information.
Got it.
And then we ask, it defaults to temporarily pop up a text file just so you can peek at it, but it's actually saving a comma delimited file. And then Okay, here's another little help. Non-zero is every account that has a answer. All would be everything in the chart, and active will be anything that had activity, even if it ends with a 0. And then now let's do the class. When you click on the class, the entire class list will pop up. And you can replace it. You can say, well, no, I don't want new construction. I want it to be apartment 10 and 20 and 30 and make unclassified at 99. And it will save this table so you don't have to fill it out over again. So what do you want to do? You want to do, I can't really show an IF as an Excel, but I can do the journal entry. I can do a journal entry. How about, I think the sample files the year 2022 maybe? 01/01/22. 1/22. Let's see what happens. Export. Yes. It came over on the other screen. This is what it looks like when it's raw. There's journal entry 12 and the date, and there's the first account, second account. If you want to see it in Excel, I better go find this. Where's my toolbar? Here, toolbar. I'm coming. Okay, so open that file. So that took what, seconds? It takes longer to open the file. So let me so there's your journal entry for December. Oh. Did I only do 1 month?
And IIF just brings that in beautifully, huh?
Right. Well, the IIF has very specific headers and things like that. What is it? Start date. Oh, I did exactly what I told it to do. I want one journal entry for the change for the whole year, so it made me.
Yep.
One journal entry.
Yep.
It's doing what I told it to do. So the bank account changed $10,000 over that 12-month period.
Yeah.
Then what? And then real quick, and then we'll move on. Let's see. So, but if I wanted all 12 in between January 22 and December 22, export. Yep. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Boom. Oh, I'll tell you a trick with it that we did with this one. All right, let me open it back up. Now this is 12 journal entries. I'm on Excel.
I think it takes longer for Excel to open than it does to bring the information in.
Now I asked the when we coded the program, I asked that it not come out in date order, but to come out in general ledger order. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I can resort this by month, and every month will net to 0, of course. But if you're working with importing history into a new data file, you can't import into accounts receivable without a customer name, and you can't import into accounts payable without a vendor name. But the trick is to have a temporary accounts receivable that's just like an other current asset account, like accounts receivable history.
Oh, got it.
Okay, so you put that in the chart of accounts, if you could spell, right? And then since it's all together, now boom, boom. Well, what the hell I can do this quick. Boom. What? You can't have the same size.
You can't drag.
There you go. Okay. So boom, I'm ready to go. Because that's just a little thing that you have to do before you import.
Got it.
And then just save it and import it. If you've got a program that'll import the Excel into QuickBooks or a new data file or whatever you're working with. Now with the IIF, it's exporting in a very specific format, and you can open up in a text, fix the AR there, and then you don't need to buy another program to bring in the journal entry. It's ready to go. So I'm trying to find you guys. Oh, yeah. Da-da-da-da!
Very nice. Very
So
nice.
This now is the IIF and my little helps.
And Mark
Gina?
is pointing back to the TBX.
Oh.
Got it.
I don't have my shirt on. That should be it for a long time. I pretty much got it the way I want it.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
Beautiful.
nice. Yes,
So now I need to figure out how do I get to people who need it. And
that's right.
with the IIF, it's people who are starting new data files.
Absolutely.
And Accounting Suite, the online program, Accounting Suite,
Yes.
it imports IIFs.
All
You
right.
go from desktop and skip over QBO and go to Accounting Suite. It'll work for that too. That's where I need to chat it up, is with Accounting Suite, huh? So anyway, thought I'd show it to you.
Very nice.
Gina,
Yes?
may I real quickly share the best part of coming home and seeing your pets for the very first time? I've not opened the door yet.
Yes, you can, Matthew.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
Oh, we're gonna meet the dogs. Oh, somebody's gonna be awful happy. You don't get happier than these guys.
See, mine would be asleep and like,
No, Penny would be on top of them, knocking them over.
and he doesn't care.
Hello.
Ah!
Oh, look at, there they are. Oh,
Just a
Daddy's
selfie.
home. Oh,
Yes,
yes.
I
Oh,
know.
we're good. Oh, on top of them, over and under.
I love the bow. Hey,
I
Mary,
know.
Yeah.
Tease my.
watching puppies. Well, where's
Here's
the other one?
Silas.
Where's the other one's like,
Oh,
you can.
Oh, the other one hangs back.
You
Oh,
can-
yeah. He's old man. Leonard.
Silas.
Silas, yes.
Right.
Two little happy doggies.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
he's
happy
over with the
now.
daddy over here.
May that bring everybody just a little extra joy.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Oh,
Matthew.
yeah. There we go. Yeah.
So our last topic, and we are almost out of time, but this is like a holdover from last week too. The Society of ProAdvisory.
Right.
Do you want to talk about that, Linda? You went to the Woodard class.
I didn't go, I never visited the Society of ProAdvisory. ProAdvisory. I think, Matt, what happened is,
Okay, Sarah, would you like to talk about it?
Sarah and Matthew was there.
We
Linda, how'd you know about it?
I got an email and
I
found
got
it.
an email.
It really didn't, the site that it sent me to really didn't say a whole lot except, hold on, more coming.
And I didn't figure it out until almost the last day of Scaling New Heights, that if you went through those doors, that it was just like they had espresso coffee and sofas and yeah, Moore's like, really? And
I didn't either.
like a lounge. It was really nice. So
Like a
You guys-
physical place?
They scheduled it for after the conference ended, which is when I was going to be driving up to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So, oh well.
Matthew, you were in there quite a bit.
Yeah, so Linda and I were working behind the scenes with the team that was putting all this stuff together. So we knew it was coming, but we weren't allowed to say anything to anybody. And then we actually did it's on my YouTube channel also, we did an interview with Misty Mejia in there, as well as with Rich Priest and Arish also inside there. And Misty kind of goes through and explains what the Society of ProAdvisory is all about, what the goal is from it during our interview. And it's basically Misty is trying to revitalize the perception of the ProAdvisor and the relationship between the ProAdvisor and the corporation.
Got it.
Is a good way to say it.
Nice.
And I'm excited about it. I stand behind it 100%. Misty's amazing. She's a very, very, very amazing person.
Is there something that we need to be doing or joint? Like I saw it at Scaling.
Other than waiting.
Is there?
At the moment, I guess it's kind of waiting. What they're going to be doing, I'm trying to remember what I'm allowed to talk about and what I'm not supposed to. So if I get it messed up, sorry, Misty.
Won't they do something at QB Connect?
Yeah, they'll be doing more at QB Connect about it. They have got some really great ideas about trying to bring in some thought leaders, some people that are outside of our industry, but are still focused around the needs of the business and making it to where we'll have access to more information of that nature. They're trying to find ways to engage and interact with the ProAdvisors more than before, and to really, be able to listen to them and find out how and what resources do we need to be successful at what we're doing. And of course, it's called Society of ProAdvisory because we all know that the advisory services is the way of the future. So it's really directed towards all of that.
So I'm really happy to see this. I want to have more interaction with just taking certification tests. Thank you.
Okay.
That would be
They're
great.
trying. I mean, they're trying to get everybody engaged in a different way. That's nice.
Right. Well, they've extended the certification until August 4th. I'm assuming that's Monday night at midnight.
They
Oh,
did?
I did not know that.
They did.
Oh, yeah, I got an email today saying, oh, we're very sorry. Oh, no, maybe it was on the Woodard thing. Weren't you on the Woodard thing this morning, Sarah? That's where it was. They announced it there.
They extended it because the website kept crashing on the 30th and 31st.
Everybody's taking it last second.
Crashed again on the 4th.
Well, yeah, so people could not get to the recertifications. They could only get to taking the full test over again.
Right.
So on the 31st, I did a screenshot of what it looked like at like 11:30 in the morning Central Time. And then I was working with somebody else to get access to where they were supposed to go. And it was about an hour later. So sometime between 11:30 and 12:30 Central Time, they officially changed it on the 31st.
Wow.
From the 31st to August 4th.
Got it.
At the last moment.
Well, I kind of figured they'd do that,
so
but if they did, they did, and they didn't, they didn't. I don't know whether I'm going to try to pass or not, because I don't get clients that way. So I don't think.
Question. I asked the question at Woodard, and then I had to go. So if they answered my question, I wasn't there. We're all talking about QBO, right? Not desktop certification.
But
Yes.
online.
Desktop is different. It's slightly different. But they sent me the link, and just as I was copying and pasting the link, Joe closed the webinar, and I hadn't saved the chat. So.
Because I saw desktop and QBO, and I'm like, whoa, because I usually take them 2 years at a time. So I'm planning on taking. Well, I took 19 and it ate it. So I got so mad I didn't take it ever again. But I was planning on taking 19 and 20 at the same time.
Right.
I tend to do that, It's like,
I know. It's easier to do it that way.
They changed it so you can't do that anymore. You have to do 19 before it expires unless you want to do the whole test again.
That's what I'm worried about. So when is that? I haven't received anything about.
I don't know if they extended desktop. It was either the 31st or it'll be the 4th.
Why would I better not?
No, I don't think so. Well, there's a link or something.
Well, first of all, we're in 19. We're using 19 now. Why would they expire that?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
And I haven't gotten any notifications. So I'm hoping that 19 expires like next July. And by that time, I can take 19 and 20 at one time. I don't know.
I have a question.
I thought we always learn this stuff on Facebook. Why aren't we getting notifications?
What happens? Somebody in the middle of August decides, oh, I'm going to become a bookkeeper and I'm going to do QBO and I'm going to do my QBO and get certified in that. Do they have to wait till next April?
No.
It just doesn't make sense.
No, but what I don't like is then you go to the ProAdvisor site and they don't look any different than me. And I've been certified for what, 24 years, 23
I know that.
I know that is so frustrating.
Oh well.
So,
Okay, let Matthew talk.
couple things on that. So part of the reason they do the advanced certification where it ends the way it does, it's because they take all the information when they create the recertification test. They're taking it's a shorter test and it's on just the new features to keep people up to date on the new stuff that came out. So, and that test and that information usually comes out at the beginning of the year. So they put this ending timeline of July 31st, because once that hits, all of that information becomes part of the normal advanced test as they then start to build out the new recertification test. So it has this cycle to it, basically.
Got it.
And they have to have the cutoff point so they can, build out and keep things all up to date. The other thing you were talking about, like your ProAdvisor profile, there's a very complicated algorithm that's involved as to how you show up. And if the more you have done advanced certifications, higher you will up. So if you are advanced certified in QuickBooks Online and advanced certified in like enterprise, desktop, so forth, you are more likely to be at the very top than anybody else. But that also takes into consideration your reviews. It's also important that you reply to reviews now. So if somebody leaves a review, you should be going on and saying, hey, thanks for the great review. Really, really appreciate it. That interaction, that is what they're wanting to see. The more you do that stuff, the higher you will show up in their algorithm for new business. Because we get a lot. We probably get at least one lead a week minimum from them.
If you're talking about advanced, not regular desktop.
Well, I'm talking about for the profile, that's kind of independent of all of it. But for QuickBooks Online, advanced certification is what I was talking about, the recertification of your advanced certificate. And this is, of course, complicated because now we have QuickBooks Online Advanced.
Right. Okay.
Thank you. Into it.
I still don't know. I'm assuming next
desktop should be fine for now.
May or June after tax season, I can take 19 and 20s regular certification and be caught up.
Right.
Well, you'll have to let us know.
Or if I get a while.
I'm going to try to take the 19. They told us there was no reason to go back and take 17 or 18. They said they're only going to count 1 year of desktop. So I'm going to skip over 18 and do 19.
I just want to make sure I'm doing the recert and not the full blown.
Yeah.
I don't even know, but on QBO at this point,
yeah,
I lost my regular. I thought I had done what I needed to do, and I didn't. So I have to go back and do the full blown again.
Mm-hmm.
And since I don't use it that much and I don't use all parts of it, and when I read online of the problems people are having, it's like, I don't need that. The kind of business I have is different.
Short.
It's just a different business. That's all.
Yeah.
So.
All righty, guys. I think we are about out of time this week.
I think we are.
You want to talk about real quick before we end?
No, I think that's it.
That's it.
Happy weekend.
Happy weekend, everybody. See you same time, same place next week.